Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is going to be game 2 between Dentarg and Kik0. Kik0 starting in the upper left-hand corner as the red Terran, bottom left-hand corner. We have Dentarg starting as the gray Protoss. This is going to be on Metropolis, which you've got the big droppable areas along those corners, which if Dentarg opts to go Arbiter play once again, Arbiter recalls can be very, very powerful on this map. I will say, something shifted at the upper levels between last week and this week of the Swiss bracket, and I'm trying to think, and so this is very recent, where all of a sudden Protoss got a lot more proficient at blockading the early game vultures. I'm kind of glad to see it. I do want to make a secondary comment that it feels like Protoss, how do I put this, in Terran spaces, especially at the extremely high levels, there's a lot of build order understanding. It feels like as well, even at mid to higher levels amongst Terran, there's a lot of build order understanding. And I think from Terran, you have to, because of just so much going on with Terran infrastructure and a lot of other sort of stuff. Zerg seem to have a pretty good concept of build order as well, but maybe because Protoss overall does so much with micro, particularly Sidestorm, DT, Corsair, Zealot engagements with Dragoons to back up. It feels like the build orders tend to be a little bit more stale as far as build order mechanics and understanding, especially at the top level. I was thinking about this the other day, where people were criticizing Snow for build order whatnot, for not understanding build orders, which I think is valid, but I was trying to think, like, what are the other Protoss that really have a good grasp, that are like the Larvas or the Queens or the whoever, and it's really just Bisu there that I can think of, even at the top levels, as far as really messing around with build orders and finding, and I don't think it's, I can't imagine that it's just like, oh, well, there's just not that many options. I think it's just Protoss tends to, you get guys like Best, right, where they do well because of just really solid mechanics. By the way, cancellation of a Zealot here from Dentarg, interestingly enough. And I wonder if he has some other thought here in mind, is just going to go fast. I wonder if he's leaning towards 2 gate, so SCV manages to encroach. Kik0, I think, saw the probe make its way out and shifted. By the way, more defensive interior construction here from Kik0 after what happened in game 1. Factory also being constructed alongside, so it's looking similar, but a little bit, just definitely more defensive here out of Kik0 overall. First Dragoon being constructed, fast range. Kik0 got the information he's looking for, going to go ahead and pull out. Dentarg still having trouble finding his opponent's base. Checking middle just to see whether there was a, that was interesting, checking middle just to see if there's any sort of proxy. And now making his way bottom right. This is, and we do, okay, now we got the 2 factory from Kik0. Bringing out the old, and I like this actually in response to what happened game 1. Also, Dentarg didn't open up with that Zealot. And let's see if he sticks to the 1 gateway play right here. The SCV finding a lot of information that it was hoping for. Machine shop dropped currently for Kik0. Kik0, I really like Kik0's execution on this, and I think it's one of those things, and I do feel like this is kind of the bread and butter he can fall back on. I'd like to see more of that out of him. So staging the 3 Marines towards the front, he can actually kind of toy with this Dragoon in the initial stages. Does want to try to deny as much information as possible. 4th Marine here in the back corner, still sitting off the single gateway, and it looks like Dentarg does want to go ahead and go 1 base, or sorry, 1 gate into expansion. 2nd machine shop dropped. And let's see if he goes heads up versus these Marines, and he is sending the 2nd Dragoon across. That's kind of the other interesting thing with the heavier Marine production here to start. Yeah, seeing the 3 Marines, I think he's thinking, okay, maybe this is just command center. Kik0 needs to be a little bit braver. Yeah, now he's got the 2 alongside, and the Marine's going to go ahead and flee back. Initial siege tank, but the thing is this doesn't look, based on what's happened recently and Terran's proclivity to go heavier Marine here to the start, they kind of cloaks the 2 factory push and FD as well, because right now Dentarg still looks at this, he's still playing aggressively into this, thinking, okay, hey, this is just, you know, standard stuff. I want to see how this executes, honestly, as a follow-up, and if the early Dragoon pressure is sufficient. Marine, or sorry, an SCV alongside, but this, again, it just looks like standard blockade action. Dragoons chasing down that siege tank. Dragoons taking a battering. And now all of a sudden you got 3 siege tanks. Dragoons getting wiped out. The one salvation for Dentarg might be that he can maybe peel these Dragoons out to the right and threaten something underneath. But now Kik0 ready to launch, and how many, yeah, dropping a shield battery response. I don't know that that's going to be sufficient. So three Dragoons, a shield battery, and a dream. And Kik0 starting to move out. Yeah, he's hunting potential Dragoon pathing out to the right a little bit rather than going for a streamlined march straight. Blockade toward the front. A little bit of energy dropped. A second gateway, but this feels very, very late. Siege tech also researching. We've already got some. We already have mines, as I'm unable to click. And Kik0 pressing. Yeah, it just does not seem sufficient here from Dentarg. Mines already opening up that field. A mine drag would be all that would be able to save this, I think, and the mines are on the wrong side here. Oh, and 2 mines wiping out the Dragoons. I think Kiko's got this. Very strong build from him usually, and mixing in the Marine. Dentarg laughing at the mine before calling GG. We're going to game 3, by the way. Very manner of him, regardless. But yeah, Kiko's two factories, very, very strong. Even stronger, actually, with all of the shenanigans that are happening in the early game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.